On a nice hike today, December 25th, and although I'm enjoying the temperature, it's 61 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty disturbing for December 25th here in the Midwest. Nice Antonaria in winter survival mode, full of anthocyanins. Nice hemlock grove here. Doesn't seem to have been affected by the adelgid yet. Let's hope it remains that way for a while. What a treat. Goodyear rattlesnake plantain. Wonderful little acidic loving woodland orchid. Look at the veining on the leaves. This is a lesson in microclimates. Up on that ridge, it's about a 61 degree day. Down here, much cooler, but we're in a ravine, so the sun doesn't get down here to warm it up enough. So much cooler. A gorgeous ravine covered in ferns, hemlocks, and if you look just over there, Canada yew. Excellent. Ravines like this are strongholds for Canada yew because it is like deer candy. It's America's native yew, and the deer seem to really enjoy eating it, which means it's oftentimes limited in its highest abundance to cliff faces and ravines where no one can get down to bother it. It's a pretty resilient little shrub there, though. Littering the ground over here is a bunch of Hepatica acuta leaves. We think of them as spring ephemerals, but they're actually evergreens. Their flowers are certainly spring and ephemeral, but this green leaf here will help them really kind of kick it up a notch as soon as favorable conditions return in the spring, and then they can flower and grow a whole new crop of leaves. This is some cool erosion there. Got a little seep up there on this cliff, and you can see that when ice forms it tends to expand and break away those little flakes of rock, and it's just been warming up and careening down all day here. It's kind of fun to just sit and listen to little rocks tumbling off down into the creek. Look at that, a beautiful script lichen. Now I think most of the body of the lichen is either just at the bark surface or just underneath it, but those right there, those things that look like pencil marks that give it the name script lichen, are the reproductive structures. They're called apothecia, and those spew spores. Unbelievable. What do you see?
I see a nice big rock outcrop in here.
Yeah?
Yeah, big cliff.
Hey, what's that on your shirt? You know, for as fragile as a plant as it seems, Jacob's ladder is surprisingly resilient and stays pretty evergreen during the winter. Check out what's going on the leaf, though. Some sort of leaf miner, maybe? Or could be frost damage, but I don't know, it looks pretty leaf minery to me. What do you think? Here we have the walking fern. named so because if you follow these fronds here, you'll see that each one has a little tip full of meristematic tissue, which when it touches the ground will become a new fern. And then it does it again, and boop, and you get these walking colonies that kind of traverse rock faces like this. Another fantastic evergreen fern this time of year, Dryopteris marginalis, the marginal wood fern, because the sori are on the margins here of the pinnae. Let's look at them with magnification. Now that's what I'm talking about. See how they look kind of fuzzy? Earlier in the year these would have been more compact, but if you look closely, you'll see that each one of those is kind of like a little, I don't know, trebuchet, and that's exactly what they are. They're like catapults. These elaters expand and fling the sori out into the surrounding environment. Amazing. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you find fossils. Look at that. It's all crinoid stems. I believe these layers are limestone, old carboniferous, so ancient ocean sediments. Not too shabby. Look at this, I think this is the remains of a little hummingbird nest. It's like a bunch of spider silk and leaf chunks and lots of lichen. Aww, how nice. What the heck are you? Some sort of fly?
Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
He's having a hard time on the sandstone here. This beautiful hemlock here, probably much older than it looks. Just goes to show you how resilient these plants are. It's completely rooted in this little crevasse here, sharing some space. Some walking ferns, of course. Man, I love Asuga. Hey, I do believe this is our native sedum. Kind of likes messy overhangs like this. Not a lot of competing vegetation, but it's cool because it grows in a forested understory. Not really like a massive full sun plant. So, true story, I'm terrified of heights, but it doesn't stop me from showing you this awesome little polypody population hanging out on this wonderful little, I guess, devil's backbone, turkey's backbone, looking above this creek here. Standing here admiring this beautiful white pine. Huge, huge tree, but look at where it got a root hold. Just hanging out on this little rock outcropping here. Probably before erosion took away that half of it. It was fully rooted, but regardless, imagine the stories this beast could tell. Did you ever see a moss in reproductive mode before? I forget the name of this one off the top of my head. It'll probably be just under the footage here, but I believe these are archegonia, or at least where the reproductive structures on moss like this are located. And all of that wetness around here allows them to reproduce a lot easier, because mosses have flagellated sperm, which means the sperm have to swim to the female. So as luck would have it, we're up on this ridge here where not much else can walk unless you've got, opposable thumbs. Protected up here from all of the herbivory and disturbance is a nice Canada yew. A very healthy looking specimen. In fact, this might be the thickest stem I've ever seen on one. But not too different from other yews. Very much a member of the genus Taxus. But it's really cool to see it so healthy. It's pretty badass. This big old tree just ended up splitting this tiny beech sprout that came up at the base of it. The beech is still alive too.